Hey, Ron.
Yes, sir.
On moving mode, is it 125 or 1 to 30?
125th.
Yeah. That's the right speed?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And you're at 12,800, so you got plenty to go on ISO if you need it.
Yeah. Okay, I think I messed up that one time when I had it on 160.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And ideally, if you're shooting 24 frames a second, ideally you would be at a 50th of a second.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've looked at what 180 shutter angle is, but basically your shutter should be open half of the time of your frame rate and closed half the time. And that tends to be a nice, pleasing look for the human eye. Right. With the Aurora, though, you need every stop you can get, so it's better off if you open it a little bit. In this case, you could actually bump your ISO and you could get away with a 50th of a second if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's good. I don't think I'm going to... It's not like right overhead dancing or anything like that.
Right,
you know?
right.
In that case, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Definitely would go to 150 to get
But yeah,
all
normally that's what I'm
frames.
shooting to. And then I just control exposure with ISO.
Yeah. So, you want to hear my theory?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so you know that the Aurora is... The BZ was negative all night tonight.
Yes.
But why did it, wait so long? Normally, if you were thinking that, 70-minute kind of time, right? It should have showed up after 70 minutes. But it didn't really do that. So I was reading about it today. So this guy, he was talking about... He says that basically there's two ways for the particles from the solar wind to get into the magnetosphere. And the first way is like when they're talking about on the day side, it kind of gets to the point where the solar wind cancels out the Earth's magnetic field, and then if your BZ is negative, the particles can channel in and follow the Earth's magnetic field line and get inside. But on this side, you can't see anything because that's on the daylight side. That's towards the sun. So what he's saying is that on the backside, where you have the magnetosphere stretched out by the solar wind.
Yeah, the magnetopause.
The magnetotail. There's also a point where two field lines cross, and at that point, when the field lines cross, sometimes what happens is that normally where you have a really long tail, and sometimes it tapers off, and the moment when it tapers off, it slingshots that energy, like you had on that video, into a new field line, and the particles follow that. They actually accelerate towards the Earth's magnetic field into the polar regions. That's where you get
which is typically how Aurora happens, just in general. Yeah.
Now, but the thing is that a negative BZ, what they were saying is that it shows there's correlation between negative BZ and more particles entering the back of the magnetic field on the backside of the
magnetopause.
It's the magnetotail or wherever that is. It's like this big, almost like a big balloon where all the plasma is hanging out.
Right, like a windsock, really.
Yeah, like a windsock. But so BZ, what it really says is, it's just, if it's really negative, there's a crap ton of particles entering that windsock.
Right.
But it doesn't actually tell you when that windsock gets full enough for that taper back effect to occur.
Right. And even then,
it's not guaranteed that once your BZ goes negative 170 or 60 minutes based on wind speed, this slingshot effect's going to happen.
Right. That is true.
Yeah.
But it gives us a good approximation.
Right. So
and about 80% of the time it happens. Sometimes it doesn't, and you're right. What we refer to those as Van Allen belts.
Right.
So sometimes those particles, Marquetta could dig into, geek out with you a little bit more than I could because she studied it more. But sometimes those particles, and we've been sitting here on a night where the Aurora should be out, the BZ's south, everything's going well, and